the Sig P320 X Compact. Alright guys, the P320 X Compact by Sig Sauer. This gun, very nice. Just when I thought that the striker handgun market had gone stale, that you couldn't possibly do a whole lot of different things with it, Sig came out with the X series. So I've had a P320 before, several years ago. It was a full size, didn't particularly care for it. It felt like the gun was very nose heavy. Didn't really like it, didn't feel that balance in my hand. However, this X series is very different. You have just much more improved ergonomics all the way around, and that's really what the X series brings to the table. You do have Sig's X-ray night sights on top, and we're going to go down to the table and take a close-up look, show you what comes in the box. Very nice. You do have the straight trigger as well. Sig did a lot of things right with this gun. So without further ado, we'll go down to the table. I'll show you what comes in the box and give you a walk around the pistol. Now keep in mind, I normally shoot 1,000 rounds through a pistol before I give it a review. In light of the ammo situation, I didn't do that this time. I shot about 750 rounds. It'll probably be right at 750 rounds by the time I finish filming today. Part of that is I have ammo, but if I keep shooting like I was without the ability to either reload more or buy more at prices that aren't outrageous, I won't have ammo for long, and then we will be shooting pellet guns on the channel, and nobody's really excited about that. So let's go down to the table, give you a close-up. So first things first, what you get in the box is two 15-round magazines, and Sig mags are pretty nice. They are a metal construction with a plastic base plate. These are 15-round mags. Although the beauty of the 320 series, and we'll go ahead and verify that the gun is clear, beauty of this is that you can use other 320 mags, so your higher capacity mag should work in the gun just fine. We'll do more on the gun here in a second. In the box, you get Sig's little product line advertisement for their ammo, so that's cool if that's what you're into. The owner's manual here, this is the 320X series. And then looking further in the box, you get the obligatory gun lock, little chamber flag, and that's really about it. Pretty straightforward packaging, and that's all there really is to it. So compact box, compact gun, very nice. Looking at the gun itself, again, you do have that X series frame, which is one of the best things Sig has done on their polymer guns, in my opinion. You have extended beaver tail, nice undercut here, little finger groove. You get a very secure grip on the gun. Slide stop, slide release is ambi, magazine release is not, but you can switch it over to the other side. You have that nice straight trigger. I'll show you what that looks like. So the trigger, you get your take up, there's your brake, and then reset right there. So not a terrible trigger. Reset is not as good as I would like, and I guess I've been spoiled by shooting mechanics and things here lately, but not a bad trigger, and the straight trigger is very nice. It doesn't slap your finger or anything like that. You have forward and rear serrations, and this is an optics mounting plate up here. The Delta Point Pro, and I believe it's the Sig Romeo 1, will affix directly to the gun. Anything else, you're going to need an adapter plate, and that's part of why I have not put an optic on it yet, although I will be doing that in the future, so stand by for that. You have a nice shelf on the rear sight, so for one-handed manipulations, that is there. And then I need to mention on this optics plate, when you take the plate off to put an optic on, the rear sight comes with it. So unless you want to go and get some custom milling work done, if it can even be done to put a rear sight back on the slide somewhere, you're going to lose that rear sight when you throw an optic on it. I'm not going to try to convince you that you need one, don't need one, whatever. It is what it is. Looking at the sights themselves, they are 3-dot tritium sights. You have a green ring there around the front sight, and that is very nice. I like the contrast between that and the rear, but the tritium is sufficiently bright, nothing crazy. Up here you have an accessory rail for mounting lights, lasers, and things like that, although I will say you're going to have to be kind of careful what light you get just because of the shortness of the rail. So TLR 7 probably work great on it. The Olight PL Mini 2 works good on it, but there is that. To take the gun down, it's going to be pretty straightforward. You'll lock the slide to the rear. You're going to pivot this takedown lever here. It can be kind of stiff sometimes. Get it around, drop your slide, and it slides right off the gun. No need to do any kind of trigger pulling, anything like that. Now the other cool thing, and I mentioned this in the first look video, about the P320 series is the serialized part of the gun. What actually makes this a firearm legally is not the frame, it's not the slide, it is the fire control unit or the trigger unit in here. So you can actually swap the grip module, slides, barrels, caliber conversions, and I'm not sure exactly how that works with a 9mm as your base model, but you can change things out. And the only part of the gun that's the actual gun is going to be this trigger control unit in here. So I haven't done any of that yet, but it is a modular handgun in the sense that you can do that. I may actually end up getting a bigger grip frame at some point in the future just to play around with that. Recoil spring is a captive recoil spring. Very easy there to show you guys. You do have to be careful when you're putting it in. It's kind of an oblong shape. The flat parts on either side, they need to be vertical or it won't go back together well. And then there's your barrel. So it actually still has some grease on it from the factory, even shooting it. But there's roughly 700 rounds, what kind of wear you can expect. Not a whole lot of rounds through it yet, just because of the ammo situation, which sucks, because 9 is one of my favorite things to shoot. Go ahead and seat your barrel back, take your recoil spring guide rod assembly. Again, make sure those flats are vertical. Try to get it as straight as possible, and then go ahead and slide it back on the frame, and you are good to go. So that's about it for the close-up, guys. We'll go back up top. So most of my complaints with the original P320 are null and void with this X Series compact. I haven't had any issues with it. And before somebody goes on about the P320 auto firing, enjoy this clip on how I tested this gun. Y'all know what time it is. I almost hit myself in the face. Y'all would have loved that. We have the Sig P320 X compact. Now, when I had my buddy Justin's Sig P320 X VTAC, some news came out to us about the lawsuit about Sigs going off on their own. So I'm doing the hammer test on any Sig P320 series pistols I get. The way I do that, primed case, nothing special, just a primed case, and we're going to put that in the pistol now. This should make it as transparent. Same primed case, guys. I'm not, you know how the internet is, right? If I can get it in there, that would be nice, right? Alright, guns in battery, loaded chamber indicator is up, and then with our finger off the trigger, we are going to hammer this pistol. A lot of people drop them. I couldn't do it with Justin's, even though he told me to, and it was his gun, and I'm just not going to drop mine. Just not yet, guys. It's barely broken in. Alright, let's get to beating. Didn't go off till I pulled the trigger. So my chief complaint with the original P320 I had was it felt like it was nose heavy. And again, that's going to be kind of subjective, but for me, that was my experience with it. I didn't care for it. With this one, don't really have that, especially when you take a loaded magazine and put it in there. The gun is very well balanced. You have 15 in the mag, you could have a 16th round in the chamber, you're good to go. The gun handles very well, it's very shootable. The sights are not what I would call precision target sights, but they are sufficient for hitting targets at longer ranges. That nice trigger helps with that. It's very easy to get fairly quick target acquisition with that contrast front sight. It just kind of jumps out at you and it's good to go. In the future, I do plan to definitely put an optic on it once I can source a adapter plate for the Holosun 507C. That is my go-to micro red dot system. And then get another Holosun, because I don't feel like taking the one off my carry gun to play with it on here. So as time goes on, I'm not made of money. You guys know I'm a small channel, but that is what I will be doing, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, it's a lot of fun. We'll put a couple more mags through it, enjoying and splurging a little bit on ammo today. And we're going to try some from here around the 40-yard mark. I hadn't really pushed it past like 35 yards, so we'll see what we get. I'll put these on the silhouette and see how it comes together. You can definitely feel when the slide locks to the rear. My shooting itself was not that impressive, but it is what it is. Alright, one more mag. Hit the chain on the swinger. Alright, last round. Any bets on whether or not I hit it? Of course not. And I rode that slide stop, slide release. So that's one more thing I wanted to talk about. Depending on your grip, where you put your thumbs, the gun is clear, guys. But depending on where you put your grip, you could potentially end up riding that slide release. At least I do. So something to watch for. Other than that, no real complaints with the gun. Just one of those things where it is a little bit different than everything else I shoot. So if I don't shoot it regularly, as you guys just saw, I do have an issue with accuracy, at least for a while. So there is that. As far as reliability goes, it has been very reliable. I haven't had any issues, and that's using small rifle primers in place of small pistol, which or a thicker primer cup material, so sometimes, especially striker fired guns, may have an issue with those going off. Hasn't been an issue with the Sig. It's gone off just fine. It's handled bullet weights from 115 all the way up to 147. It's handled subsonic loads, supersonic loads, plus P-spec loads. The gun just shoots, and it does very well. So if you're on the fence about getting a Sig P320 X Compact, don't be. Go ahead and grab it if you can find one. Stay safe, keep shooting, and if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to see more content coming out, especially with things being the way they are now with gun and ammo availability. I'm going to be spending more time working on the guns I already own, going ahead and doing some upgrades and things like that. So if you're interested in seeing that stuff, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Excuse me, I'm going to use here is we got to function check the gun, right? Figure it out. Seems to work fine. still a freaking phenomenal pistol. Some more trigger time with the Sig P320X Compact. Having a lot of fun with this pistol so far. Phenomenal little gun. Must have been riding the slide lock slide release there. Flawlessly, and very mild recoiling even for those heavier bullets. Using the 21 round mag, they fit, so it's cool. It's actually from my buddy Justin's VTAC, so yeah, so far so good. I'm liking this thing. This is a very nice trigger. Very impressed with this trigger. Glasses are fogging up there.